The Unfiltered by Jade.
Jade. Welcome to the Unfiltered by Jade, where we get out of the box and dive into topics that are sidelined. I look forward to entertain, educate, and inspire. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, donate, and make everybody know about this.
Beats by RB Records, a proud sponsor of The Unfiltered by Jade.
Shopping Assistance Jamaica takes the stress away. Our services include online and local shopping in Jamaica for individuals and businesses, personal shopping, purchasing of company and office supplies, importing and exporting small packages across Jamaica and worldwide, helping you to find unique gifts and items for all events and occasions. Contact us at 876-919-5195. Shopping Assistance 2015 at gmail.com. Follow Shopping Assistance on Instagram at Shopping Assist JA, at Twitter at Shopping Assist 5, and Facebook at The Shopping Assistance. Shopping Assistance, your style, your budget. Welcome back to the Unfiltered by Jade. Today we have with us a very special person. Her name is Kim Martin Raymond. She is a minister, a certified spiritual life coach, and author, a podcaster and host of How Now podcast, and has a company called Redefining You. So hi Kim.
Hello there. How are you?
I am doing great and I'm happy to have you.
I am so excited to be here and thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity to come and to share.
Most definitely, and I'm excited about the topic. I'm excited about it, excited about what you have to say. And especially now that we're kind of going into Christmas.
Yes.
And people, some persons have their new idea that they want to do some changes for the new year.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't think I'm going to do that because, the last time I had done things and put things up that I want to do some changes, we had COVID come.
Yes.
And the idea that I had didn't go as planned because we did not plan for COVID and it came.
Yes, it did. With a vengeance.
With a vengeance, and it's still here.
That's right.
So I want to find out, is redefining yourself a negative or a positive thing?
Well, when I think about redefining who you are and talk about redefining oneself, the name of my business is Redefining You.
Yes.
Where we talk about, trying to rediscover some of the things that we were doing before we allowed our family, our friends, our work, and other aspects of our life to take over. Right. And we began to be defined by the roles that we played in other people's lives. And so, when you talk about redefining yourself, you're talking about learning more about yourself. You're talking about rediscovering yourself.
Yes.
And so I look at it as a positive thing because anytime you're learning more about who you are, coming into your own space and coming to a realization of who you are, there are little adjustments that need to be made.
Yes.
And so it's always good that when you know better, you do better. We've all heard that saying before.
Oh, yes.
And so when we learn that there are things about ourselves that need to change, and we start walking in that direction, we're being honest with ourselves. And the more we're honest with ourselves, the more honest we are or can be with others. And so it's always a positive thing when we're looking to advance ourselves and to grow. So I would say it's a positive
thing.
Absolutely.
I asked about it being positive or negative because sometimes would have heard, I don't know if you have heard it, but sometimes, when people have decided, hey, I'm going to change this thing about myself to be a better person. Some people say, well, they don't like the change that they're seeing because probably it's not what they expect or what
Right.
they want. And they say, well, you say you have redefined yourself, but it's not for the best, especially if it is that it's something that they're against or they don't want to hear or they're
Right.
not familiar with you doing.
Right.
Example, having boundaries,
Yes.
right?
Absolutely.
Not everybody is
Absolutely.
comfortable with somebody who never had boundaries to now start having boundaries.
Right. And that's why we have to be careful, I think, when we're talking about making changes
Yes.
and how we have to pace ourselves. It's not something that we do where we're making such grandiose changes that we're almost putting ourselves in a space of self-sabotage. Because
Oh, okay.
now we're saying, okay, um, I want to do something different, but I'm going to do this, and that. And it's just not feasible to
Okay.
do that many things or to make that many changes. But it all starts just like when someone makes the choice to make a lifestyle change with regards to their diet.
Okay.
Let's say that's an easy one to do, to talk about. uh, you
Is
know,
it
and
though?
I'm talking about with regards to you have to resign yourself to say, okay, I want to make this lifestyle change. I want to make this commitment, and somebody can tell you all about the things that you can do, but until you are ready to apply those things, you're not going to do it. You're not going to, you can, like they say, you can lead a horse to water, but they
But you
won't
can't force them
necessarily
to drink
drink.
it. Mm-hmm.
Okay. You can give people the tools that they need, but until they're ready to use those tools, it doesn't matter. So you have to be in that, it's all about mindset. So you have to be in that space of saying, okay, this is something that I want to do.
Yes.
This is something that I'm willing to do.
Yes.
And until you resolve yourself or until you put in your mind that that's what you're going to do, you're not going to take the steps. You're going to say this is too overwhelming. I can't do it. You're going to set yourself up for failure.
For failure. Awesome. How does one prevent going back to their old self after making the, conscious decisions to change who they are?
Well, I think what's important to remember is that we have to forgive ourselves.
Yes,
Because
important.
just like with any change that we make, just like again going back to diet, you make
Mhm.
dietary changes, but then there are things that will tempt you. There
Yes.
are things that will cause you to want to go back.
Yes.
And you have to be able to weigh the options there and say, okay, is it worth it? Is it worth me eating this, or is it worth me putting this in my mouth for this, for this moment of pleasure, or how is it going to affect me long term? And we have to be able to say, okay, I've fallen or I've slipped or I've had a little setback, and to be able to say, you know what, I forgive myself because I'm human.
Yes.
And because I'm human, I know that I'm going to make mistakes. But guess what? Tomorrow is another day
Yes.
and I'll try again. And that's why we have to be, careful not to make things or to make changes that are so grandiose that they're just outside of the scope of being reasonable. And so it's important to do that. It's important to just say, okay, I've made a mistake, and I'm just going to try again tomorrow. I'm going to try again, and I'm going to keep going because I know that this is going to be for my greater good.
Yes, it's beneficial.
Absolutely.
No one later down. For going back to one's previous habits or so, it can also really be dependent on people around them too.
Absolutely.
Because I've been in a situation where I have needed to change diet before, and
Hmm.
um it didn't go so well in my previous marriage.
Uh-huh.
you know because now it means, so now we're buying healthy stuff, so now it means you're cooking healthy stuff, so now it means that it's more than one cooking being done in the house because
Right.
this person is not saying, okay, let me do it with you so it can be a bit easier, or let me try it with you so it can be a bit easier. So it's
That's it.
something that I had to do on my own. For me, it made no me start eating or going back to who I was before
Right.
in terms of diet and how I was eating, because it was hard. No, something I thought would be easier, because now you're doing it with somebody, or you think you're doing it with somebody who's your spouse, so you think it's really supposed to be easier.
Right.
But hearing, it's not easier, and boy, we can't really go out anymore because you can't eat certain things anymore.
Right.
And it no makes you want, all right, let me go back and probably eat what I was eating. So
Right.
it's beneficial to everybody, and everybody now is happy.
Right. And that's why it's important for you to, when you're making changes and you're doing this, that, you definitely see what impact it has on the people around you,
Okay.
because that's huge. Because, we set in our mind to do things, and we have in our mind that, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to make these changes. But if
Yes.
you don't share those things with the people who are closest to you, or the people that will be impacted by it, then again, you're putting yourself in a space of self-sabotage,
Okay.
because that person doesn't know that this is what you're trying to do, or this
Okay.
is what you're trying to achieve. So you have to, as you're planning, as you're looking to make changes, the one thing that you should be asking yourself is, how is this going to
Affect.
affect that person that's with me, whether it be my
Okay.
significant other, or whether it be my children. And then you have to bring them in with you, and hopefully they're in a space where, because they're in your inner circle, and not part of those people who are toxic, and those people
Right.
who, say that they're for you and they're not.
Right.
That's where you're starting to make these adjustments, and you're starting to look at the outer environment and saying, okay, how are they going to be impacted? How are they going to impact my progress in making the changes that I'm making? And how can I bring them in? How can I help that person? Or how can I find the verbiage that I need to let them know what it is that I need? And that's
Yes.
an important part of redefining yourself too, being able to find your voice so that you can articulate what it is that you need.
You need.
Yeah.
Nice. What are some of the signs that someone needs to redefine who they are?
Well, some of those signs are that you continuing to do the same thing, expecting a different
Different.
result.
Yes.
I mean, it's as simple as that. You're constantly, you're not willing to make any changes, but you think that going into the same relationship, or going into the same situation and doing it the same way, is going to garner a different result
A
for some
different result.
reason.
Right. Right.
Because at that point, you're thinking that, oh, it's not me, it's the other person. And that's why it keeps,
Right. Right.
backfiring. It's not
Hmm.
me. And it's really that time when you're sitting down and saying, okay, I've done it this way. What is an adjustment that I need to make? What is something that I have control over? Because sometimes we tend to, say, oh, well, it was that other person. And we
Right.
have to stop and look at, okay, well, what part did I play
I
in
play
this?
in there.
And what is something
Mm.
that I can do differently that's going to garner a different response? I have to do something different. I have to make a change, and what is the change that I'm willing to make so that I can see something different. So that changes need to be made when you realize that you're consistently finding yourself in the same situations.
Yes.
Every time I do this happens. Okay, so what are you going to do different next time? Besides cross your fingers and hope that it turns out different the next time. That's not going to work.
Nope. You have to try and find
So,
other result, other measures to do things.
exactly. So that's when it's time to make a change. And when you just, when you're starting to discover things about yourself, when you're
Okay.
starting, a lot of us during this pandemic have had time to sit with ourselves
Mm-hmm.
and to know what we like and don't like, or
Yes.
to know what things we're willing to allow to happen, and what things we're not. A lot of people have had to make some serious decisions about a lot of things that we didn't typically have to at one point.
At one point,
And
yes.
now we're sitting back and we're saying, okay, no, I have to make a decision, and I have to be able to stand firm in that. And
Mm-hmm.
that comes from, asking yourself, why do you believe the things that you believe? Why
Mm.
why do you feel a certain way about a certain? Is it because that's just how your family was, or somebody just told you and that's what you believe? You have to really stop and say, okay, why is it that I believe this? Why is it that I feel this way? Why is it that I'm triggered by this? And when we start asking ourselves those kinds of questions, then we can start saying, okay, it may be that I need to make make some changes or some adjustments here, or I need to learn a little bit more about this or why I believe this, so that way I'm standing confident in what it is that I believe in, and I can say, okay, this is why. I can articulate. Everything is about being able to articulate how you feel, so that someone else can best determine whether they can be of assistance to you, or if that person is a person that's toxic and doesn't need to be in your inner circle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So you have to really do introspection before you can actually sometimes try
absolutely.
to redefine who you are to figure out
Absolutely. It is
what is wrong.
key. It's key. It's having starting a actually it's starting a love affair with yourself.
That's right. I like that.
And I mean, hey, I've had challenges in my own life personally, and I had to make a lot of decisions that I was so busy being defined by my role in everyone else's life that when those people were no longer there, I was left trying to figure out, who's left, because I've given everything to everybody and I didn't save anything for me.
For yourself. Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Oh, I've
and
been
I
there.
mean, people who know my story know that I my daughter passed away 12 years ago, my youngest daughter.
Oh,
At
wow.
that same time, 2 months later, my daughter had empty nested and was moving to New York. She graduated college and was moving to New York, and I was going through my third divorce.
Wow.
So all in a matter of like 3 months. And here I was like, okay, I was mom, and now I'm not being a mom every day like I was. I was
Wow.
a wife, and now I'm divorced. And now I'm like, okay, what do I do? I remember going into Walmart shortly thereafter to go food shopping, and I had $300 worth of groceries in my grocery basket. And then before I realized, wait a minute, it's just you.
Just you. Oh,
And
wow.
then I went to go and reach in the cart to say, okay, well, I'll just pull out the things that I want. There was nothing in there that I had picked out for myself.
Wow.
I wound up just walking out of the store because I didn't know what I wanted. I knew what everybody else wanted. I knew it was going to satisfy them. I know it was going to make them happy, but I knew nothing about what made me happy or what I liked, because I was so defined by what I did for everyone else and what made everyone else happy. And it's a horrible space to be in when you're just standing. I stood there for a minute like, I don't see anything in this cart that I want. It was
Wow.
difficult.
Yeah.
It's difficult when you give so much of yourself that you leave nothing left for you, including your dreams, your
Yes.
aspirations, things
Yes.
that you want to do. All
Yes.
of those things are put to the side for someone else, and you think that you're doing it because you love that person, but at some point when things start to break down or the arguments flare up, animosity comes with that, and
Yes.
anger, and then
Yes.
you're mad that this person is always happy and gets what they want and I don't get what I want, and now I'm angry and I'm upset. It leads you down a slippery slope. And so you really have to take some time again to fall in love with you and to determine what are some things that you like and what are some things that you're willing to compromise, and what are those things that you're not. It's important.
I feel like, yeah, I feel like you just spoke to me a while ago. No, I'm being so honest with
Yes.
you. Um, Even listening to your story and hearing what you're saying, I'm like, it's the same thing that had happened to me.
Yeah.
So I've been in a place too where I'm left and I'm like, but I know what everybody else wants except me.
Right.
I know. So even in terms of, okay, what do I want now? What makes me happy? I have nothing.
Right.
Nothing. I had spent too much time investing in other people, too much time in figuring out what does that person desire, what makes that person happy, and I think I was feeding off it.
Yes.
So when it was time for me and I was left alone, I was blank. I
Right.
was totally blank, and I almost couldn't function
Hmm.
because I was left not knowing anything about myself at all.
That's it. And as women, we're nurturers, and we want to provide, and we want to make sure that everybody has what they need and that they're comfortable. And we're taught to be, hostesses, and to always provide, and to do those things that make us women,
Yeah.
that define our role as a woman.
Yeah.
And we forget that, we're not to pour from an empty cup. We're to pour from a place of overflow.
That's tough.
We always want to pour from a place of overflow. So that way, when we give to someone else, we still have some left for us.
Yeah.
And in that way, we can celebrate together, because now my cup isn't empty and I'm looking at you enjoying yours and I don't have anything in mine. I want to have enough so that way we can say cheers. You've got some, I've got some. We have something together. And it can be something beautiful, and we can both be satisfied, and we can both experience this moment at its peak for both of us, not just for one of us.
So I needed this podcast to hear this, apparently. To be honest.
You're welcome.
Oh my goodness. That's amazing. It's amazing, man.
Yeah, but
I
it's
just felt
real.
like I'm in therapy a while ago.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yes, that was-
It's good. That's what we're here for. That's why these platforms are created, for us to start the conversation. It's important for us to be in these spaces and to talk about these things and to bring them to the surface. That's what coaching is all about. It's being able to create a platform for people to hear themselves and for them to ask the hard questions. That's important for us to do, so that way we can get to a space of healing.
Yeah, yes, we can.
Yes.
Is learning to say no important in this change?
Ooh, let me tell you
Oh,
something.
listen.
Ooh.
Like I'm
Okay,
gonna
I am
get a
from the
spanking
No
again.
Ministry. I'm from the No Ministry, the NO Ministry. Yes, I use it often. And it's something, people don't want to disappoint.
Yes.
And so they're reluctant to say no.
Yes.
And what people have to realize is that, in saying no, it's not always a negative thing. Now, when I say no to somebody, if they ask me to do something and I say no, I say to that person, I'm saying no because I want to be able to give you my best. And I can't give you my best in this particular situation.
Okay.
I'm not mentally, physically, or financially prepared to do that. So
Okay.
my answer is going to have to be no, because I want to give you my best.
Okay.
And at this point, I can't. And so I'd rather tell you no than to give you half instead of all of what I can give in this situation for you.
Okay. Okay.
And they really can't knock you for that, because you're being honest and you're telling them that you want the best for them, and you're not in a position to give them that. I don't want to say yes and then have animosity towards you because now I got an attitude, because now I'm being inconvenienced. I'd rather just say no and preserve the relationship that we have.
Mm.
And I can't do that.
Your no is with an explanation. So it's
My
not
no
just
is with an explanation.
So it's not just no.
Right. Well, just like think about a child. If you're just telling, children always ask why. Why this? Why? So why not give somebody a response as to why, instead of just saying no? Because then you're leaving the door wide open for them to interpret it the way they feel that you meant it.
Okay.
So it's important that you make sure that, like I said, you have a voice, that you explain to people why it is. Now, it's as simple as that. If they don't understand that, then those are some things that they have to work out on their own, because for every plan A, there's a plan B.
Yes.
So what's your plan B? Because you had to know that, suppose I couldn't do it, suppose I was inconvenienced, what were you going to do next? And we always think that people don't have any other means, so we have to say yes, because if we don't say yes, they're not going to be able to do what they need to do. Trust me, they'll figure it out.
Yeah, they will.
They will figure it out.
I like that approach, though. Instead of saying just no to someone,
Right.
you say no and you explain why.
Yes.
It kind of buffers the feeling.
Yes,
of the
it does. And it doesn't mean that you don't feel bad, or
but you understand more.
Yes. You just say, I'm just not financially or mentally in a space to give you my best on this one. So I'm going to have to say no. And then I have peace of mind. I can walk away and say, okay, I don't, I've told them that I can't do it. And now that releases me.
Yes.
To be able to go ahead on and not dwell on it.
Yes.
And then that person may not be inclined to choose me the next time. They may go and choose someone else. And okay. So it looks like a win for me on that one too.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean,
sometimes we
that's
have to do that.
so
Sometimes
cool.
it's important to say no because, just like you said, you're setting boundaries.
Yes.
Everything is about boundaries. You know, what you allow people to say and to do to you, how you
Yes.
carry yourself is
Yes.
how people will respond to you. If you're
Yes.
walking with your head held low and you're not making eye contact and you're stammering and stuttering, you're letting people know that you have some level of insecurity.
Yes.
But when you square those shoulders and walk with your head high and
Yep.
you're
Mm-hmm.
going about letting people know, I am Kim and this is who I am, and
Yes.
and 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 this is how I represent myself when I'm out here in these streets.
That's
People
right.
will begin to honor that and they will begin to
Yes.
respect that, and they'll look at you like, well, who is that?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
They're
They
going to
look
want
at
to
you. They
know
give you
who
more
that
respect,
is.
really. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. But we have to set those parameters. If we don't, and we just let people run amok and we cold 1 minute and hot the next, then
Yeah.
people don't know, what to expect. So they're going to throw anything out there because, it's just going to matter on
It's
any
just gonna
given day. They may
right.
get lucky,
Right.
you
Right.
know.
Bingo.
But
Bingo.
we have to establish that consistency in who we are so that
Yes.
people become familiar with, all right, this is who it is. And I know we just like we all have people, who to go to, who's going to always be that person who's going to say yes. That
Yes.
person who is going to tell you those lies that you need to
Yes.
hear.
Mm-hmm.
Those
We
people who
know.
are going to,
Mm-hmm.
give it to you straight, no chaser.
Yep.
We
We
all
know.
know who the people are in our lives that we can go to for different things. It's because of how they carry themselves or because of the experiences that we've had with them.
Yes.
That's how we determine who to go to. I have my friends know. I always tell them, "Do you want me to write you a reality check?" And they're like, "Man." So if they want that reality check, they're coming to Kim because Kim is gonna write it for them.
That's right.
If they don't want to hear that, then they go to their other friends, and that's the people
Somebody
that
else.
they go to for that. You know,
Yeah.
I
How
have pen
important.
and check in hand.
You're ready. You're ready to
Ready,
go.
ready.
How
Yeah.
important is setting goals?
Goal setting, of course, is important because you want to establish what your destination is. What is it that you're wanting to achieve in
Yes.
setting this goal?
Yes.
Why do you want to do it? It's important to know why. Again, the why.
Yes.
Why do I want to lose weight? Do I want to lose weight because because I've always been small and I'm just not comfortable with the extra weight that I have? Do I want to lose weight because I want I want to get off medication?
Right.
You start to ask yourself, because then once you establish why you're setting that goal, then you're better prepared to make the necessary steps.
Steps
you
for it.
know I don't want to say, I want to tone my body and all I'm doing is cardio and I'm never doing any strength training.
Right. Right.
You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So
Right.
so in order for you to be able to know what the best course of action is, you have to know what the end goal is.
Right. Right.
If I want to go back to school and I'm saying I want to go back to school to be an attorney, I'm going to need to study law. I'm not going to go to a
Yes.
culinary school. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right.
You're going to make sure that the goal that you're setting and the steps that you're taking are going to take you in the direction that you want to go in, and you're
Mm-hmm.
not just going out there willy-nilly. You want to make sure that as you're setting those goals, again, that you're not self-sabotaging yourself, that you're not putting yourself in a space of saying, well, I'm going to try to do this grandiose thing. Let it be just for today.
Yes.
Sometimes those goals just have to be for today.
Yes.
I want to drink more water, so just for today,
Gonna drink
I'm
more
going to
water.
try to drink 8 glasses of water. Don't
Right.
say I'm going to try to drink 8 glasses of water for a week, because as soon as you say that and you miss one day, now you already feel like you failed, and now
Yes.
you don't even want to try anymore.
Right.
It's so
Right.
much easier to say, okay, I did it for today. Okay, I'm going to try it again tomorrow. Oh, I
Tomorrow.
did it for tomorrow.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that,
Okay. I
that
get
way
it.
there's small successes that
Yes.
you're making, and
Yes.
you're
I
not
get
setting yourself up for that failure.
without failure.
Right.
Nice.
Right.
Is the fear of starting over a hindrance in starting over?
Yes, it can be. It can be, because anytime we're doing something new, anytime we're doing something that's unfamiliar, there's
Right.
going to be some level of fear, because
Yes.
there's something that we don't know. Think about this pandemic. We were all fearful because we didn't know anything about it. We had never experienced
Nothing.
anything like this in our lives. There wasn't a point of reference for us
Nothing.
except for, a pandemic that happened hundreds of years ago. So we were just like, well, what do we do? But
Mm-hmm.
what did we start to do? We started, listening to the World Health Organization and the
Mm-hmm.
CDC, and we
Oh,
started
yes.
gathering information so that way we can start making, more informed decisions. So with anything, there's always going to be a level of fear in doing something that's unfamiliar. So that's why we take little baby steps because we don't know what to expect. But when we don't know, we start investigating. We
Yes.
start seeking out information from a reputable source.
Yes.
And that's the key. A reputable source is where you're trying to get your information from. Not Pookie and them, not your friends, who may or may not know they have an opinion, but everyone has one of those. And
Yes.
so it's important that, we make sure that we're when we're seeking out information about things that we're not familiar with, that
Mm-hmm.
we go to people who are professionals in that. That's why we always talk about going sometime to therapy. As a coach, I have a coach. I have therapists, people that I speak to because
Yes.
I don't know everything.
Yes.
But I want to be able to get information from someone who has experience and who knows a little bit about it so that way I can make informed decisions moving
Decisions.
forward.
Right.
Because that's going to take some of the fear factor out of it also. Because if you're just going to anybody and they say, well, this happened to me. Well, there's always a variable, that comes in with
Yeah.
situations that happen to different people.
Yes.
So you have to factor those things in as well. And that's why sometimes it's got to be more personalized to you. And that's where we have to, seek out professionals. So yeah, there's always going to be that level of fear.
A
And
fair.
and it's just saying, okay, now what do I need to do to overcome this fear? This is where you ask for help. And you say, okay, this is something that I can't do in and of my own ability. I know I'm going to need help in this in
To
this
get done.
in this aspect. Who do I need to go to?
And you said something earlier in terms of even the example of water. So
Hmm.
I think our fear of starting over and doing something always because you normally hear people say you have long term and short term goals. Set your long term goals.
Right.
But some people are not good at it because when it is that they say, okay, I'm going to do this. And as you said, I'm going to drink water for the week. And for them, that's probably too long term for them. So
Right.
if today they drink the water, tomorrow they feel at it, they feel like they have failed at their long term goal. I just said. So drinking water every day to say, all right, I'm gonna see if I can drink 8 glasses of water today. So it's short term goals.
Right.
Tomorrow again, I'm going to see if I can drink 8 glasses of water today. So
Right.
by doing that, we are making progress and we are actually starting over and doing something that we probably thought we'd never do, but because we're doing
Correct.
it in baby steps, we're accomplishing a longer term goal.
Yes. And I love that. I mean, and one thing I'm also a violet light Reiki master, and
Hmm.
there are 5 principles that they have in Reiki, and they say just for today, I will let go of anger. Just for today, I
Yes.
will let go of worry. Just
Yes.
for today, I will give thanks for my many blessings.
Yes.
Just for today, I will do my work honestly, and just for today, I will be kind to every living thing.
Yes.
And that's something that they say every day, and it's just for today
Yes. Just for
because
today.
tomorrow is not promised. We see that,
No.
like I said, a whole pandemic took place,
Listen.
and a lot of us, you know, are not here. There are
Yes.
some who are here. There are some whose lives have changed, for the long term, those
Yes.
long haulers, those who are still, feeling the effects of those things,
Yes.
and so sometimes it's a matter of us just saying, okay, I need to live in this now space. I
Now.
need to
Hmm.
live in today.
Yes.
Yes, it's wonderful to have long-term goals, but what are some things that I can do today that are going to turn into my tomorrow?
Yes.
Those things are important.
Important. Important.
Yes.
So I want you to leave 2 tips of redefining who you are.
A big one is just like I said, be honest with yourself.
Okay.
That's number one. And forgive yourself.
Yes, I like those two too.
Those are the biggest one, because when you're honest with yourself, and you're able to say, okay, th- you know, when you start lying to yourself,
It's a different thing.
and then you have an expectation that others are supposed to treat you differently.
Yes.
How honest were you with them about
Um.
how you felt?
Yeah.
How honest are you with yourself when you tell people, when they say, hey, hey Jade, how you doing today? I'm good. And
You're not.
you feel like crap, or you're not feeling good.
Hmm.
I've learned that sometimes if I'm not feeling that great, I'll say, I'll be okay.
I'll be okay.
I'll
Yes.
be okay.
I'll be okay.
But right now, no, I'm not okay.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean I have to go into this big long explanation. But
Right.
what I can just do is be honest with you and myself and just say, yeah, not so much today.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
husband knows that, because every now and then hey baby, how you doing? And I'm just like, I'll be okay.
Yeah.
And he's like, uh-oh. Was there anything? He's like, is there anything that I can do,
Yes.
to make your day better? Or he'll just come over and give me a hug. Or sometimes he
Yes.
just knows to just say, okay.
Yes.
And sometimes that's all I need. I don't need you to put on your cape and
Right.
rescue
Right.
me right
Right.
this
Right.
minute. I
Just
just
need a
need to
hug.
let you know that
Right.
I'm going to
Not
be
okay.
okay,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
and let you know that that's all right. And if there's anything that I need, or if there's anything that you can do to help in this situation, I'll let you know.
Yes.
And then again, like I said, you have to forgive yourself.
Yes.
You have to forgive yourself and know that you are human. We are spiritual beings in a human form. And so
Yes.
because we are in that human form, okay, we're going to make mistakes. We
Yes.
are with sin. There are a lot of things that we're going to do. We're going to have moments of weakness. We're going to have
Yes.
moments where we backslide. But we
Yes.
have to be able to pick ourselves up and dust ourselves
And
off and
dust
say,
ourselves off
okay,
and try
I
again.
had a misstep. Now,
Yes.
what can I do to get my footing? When we
Yeah.
go off the road, do we just stay off the road in a wrecked car? Or
No.
do we try to get out of that, get
Yep.
out of that, ditch, and get back on the road so that we can get to where we need to go?
Definitely.
That's what we do. So we have to be able to forgive ourselves and to say,
Yes.
okay, I'm not perfect, and start again seeking out help where we need help,
Yes.
and being
Yes.
willing to say we need help.
Yes. Be
It's
willing
important.
to say we need help. It's important.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Kim. So we're at the end of it. It was awesome. I learned a lot. You took me back to a
Awesome.
counseling session.
Awesome.
So it was good. I mean, I
Yes.
know that, this is gonna help our listeners. It really and truly has helped me. And even by listening to you, I've had done introspection a while ago on even my own
Absolutely.
self. And tips about redefining even who I am to make
Yes.
to make myself happy, you know?
Yes. We are a
So
work in progress.
we are a work in progress, which is
Yes.
which is good. The good part is that we have the chance to start over again
Every day.
every day. So where can we find you, Kim?
Okay. The best way to find all things Kim Martin Raymond is to go to my link tree, and that's www.linktree, it's linktr.ee/how now.
How now?
That's my publications, my website for Redefining You, the podcast. Everything is in my YouTube channel. Everything is on Linktree in one
One
little neat
place.
package.
Oh my goodness. So guys, go and find her link tree.
Absolutely.
Listen to her podcast. I've listened to the podcast and I have had some great insight,
Nice.
on
Thank
some
you
of them
so
stuff.
much. And it's just
Sure.
been wonderful and awesome to be here with you, a fellow
Yes.
podcaster. And
Yes.
make sure you all check out Jade's show. She was on a guest on my show as well. So, yeah,
And
check
that
her
was good
out.
too. That
Check
was
her
good
out.
too. Yes. My goodness.
Yes.
So thank you again so much for being here. I
My
really
pleasure.
enjoyed it. And thank you guys for listening to Unfiltered by Jade. We'll be back next week, Tuesday. Thank you.